Hello, hello everyone! Happy Friday! Welcome back to Strange Parts! How's it going out there? Hey BoxKid, hey Obsidian, thank you for subscribing for your 3rd month! That's huge! I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all of the work that you have been doing behind the scenes and on Discord, and all the work you've been doing moderating. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very, very happy to have you here, and yeah. I'm happy for all of the energy you've put in, both to the community and to summaries and everything. So, deeply appreciative. Kit told I'll jump on Discord and yeah, there's other things to help out with. So, ping me on Discord after the stream, or ping Obsidian. I think Obsidian's looking for people to help with summaries at some point here. I think he's still sort of getting the framework set up for that, but yeah. Any updates on the Blue Ocean? Oh, you mean DigitalOcean bot server? We were working on it just before the stream, and there's still a few issues. So Patrick thinks he's resolved the issues, but I didn't have a chance to test it, and I really want to do some soldering today. So I think we're gonna do that. I'm good, Eagle. How are you? What else is going on? Let's see. James G is out flying some drones. Ooh, an Inspire. That sounds fun. What else? Hello, hello. Hey, Nosh. Hey, Scave Rat. Hey, Sammy. Welcome, welcome. All right. So I have some fun things to show off. Before we get into the main attraction. So I thought I would show off a Christmas present that I got from the folks I live with. I got. Wait, hang on. I gotta get the camera lined up first. Hang on. This is cool. So I have not fully unboxed it yet. I've opened it up and seen what it is. Okay. So. Check this out. Oop, it's upside down. Hang on. Alright, I'll leave the tape out of the way. I need to just make 2 of these scenes, one that's right side up and one that's upside down. Okay, so, wow, that's really red on there. It is not that red in person. I don't know why that is. That's interesting. Regardless, check this out. This is a little miniature building materials set. So this is a palette of cinder blocks, and I have some 2x4s and some OSB particle board. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's super cool. It's just super, super fun. This OSB is really cool. The cinder blocks look like the most immediate fun because I don't have to like cut them to build something, and I can like build multiple things. I haven't taken them out of the shrink wrap yet, but they look really they look and feel really legit. They're definitely out of concrete or some sort of aggregate material. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's pretty fun. Okay, so I want to put these back the way they were till I understand how this goes. So this. So this is just one of those, as far as I can tell, one of those just ridiculous desk toys. Oh, I should plug where they're from. They're from minimaterials.com here. Yeah. And they have all sorts of other stuff too. I gotta make a miniature version of the workshop. That would be fun. It's very like Adam Savage tested. I have not really, I know of Made in China Eagle. I have not really used it. I tend to use Alibaba, AliExpress, Taobao, 1688. 1688 is sort of Alibaba, but for Chinese people, selling to Chinese people. Those are my main sites. And then just, you know, WeChat connections and stuff. So, there's my little palette cinder blocks. Isn't that cool? So I don't quite understand how one uses these. These are the 2x4s and stuff. These ones are a little bit disappointing in that I think it's some sort of cardstock with the texture printed on it. I would have been much happier if it was actual, like, particle board of some sort, but we'll forgive them. So yeah, an e-brick reader. Kentolo, yes, I bought the parts to build the open book. We're gonna get to that, but we're doing a little showing off of random stuff first. It's a little gritty. It's definitely real concrete. So anyway, I thought that was fun, and this box is quite cool with the Strange Parts logo printed on it. I believe this is probably UV ink. So like in the video, if you haven't seen the video on YouTube, maybe somebody can dig up that link to the video I made of the UV ink printer factory. If you haven't seen that, definitely go watch it after the stream. It's very cool tech, but that's what this feels like. Yeah. So that's one thing. Oh, the other thing is a slight maintenance thing we need to do, which is, oh, thank you, Obsidian. I printed the last stream. We kind of scrambled for something to do because the robot server wasn't quite ready. So we designed a case for the microscope switcher. And I printed it, and it's not quite right. It doesn't quite fit. So I'm gonna have to make a few tweaks. I think part of it is just that, well, there are two issues. One is that I didn't leave enough tolerances for anything, right? And that was my design bad. And even the lid doesn't like really fit. It's just too tight a fit. So what I need to do is, I guess actually the thing to do that would fix both of these issues is just to shave a little bit off the inside here, make that interior space a little bit bigger. So I don't think that's terribly interesting to do on live stream. We spent so long designing it. I think that's just a tweak to make offline, and then I'll reprint it. But in the meantime, I would like to use the microscope switcher today. So we need to mount it back on the camera, which I think is just as simple as some double-sided tape and hooking up a few wires. But we got to do that before we start soldering here. So let's get that done. And then the next thing we're going to do is look through all of the parts that I got for this very cool open source e-ink ebook reader. And I just emailed Joey Castillo, who designed it, and said, hey, we're going to live stream it today. Surprise. I had meant to give him more notice, but I'm hoping he sees the email and can tune in, if not for the next stream. So, because I think this is going to take a couple streams to build out. So I'm hoping he can hang out. It's very cool, and I want, obviously he doesn't have to come hang out, but I think it's fun to see people building stuff that you've made, other people building stuff that you've made. So I'm hoping he can come do that. And I think it makes for a better stream when we have an expert in the room. So mods, if you can keep an eye out for Joey, if he shows up, please make sure that I notice. Sometimes when my head is in the microscope, I don't always see everything that's going on. So let's get the microscope over here and get this mounted. We'll be off to the races. Oh, I need to make these cords longer. I have been changing a lot of the equipment behind the camera, just the layout. I haven't really added too much. I have changed the microphone position. Actually, it seems a little bit too high right now. I got a proper boom for it, so it could be a little bit longer. But I don't know. I just need to do a bunch of cable management stuff. Things are feeling really janky right now. Like I have bought myself a whole bunch more desk space, which is awesome. Like I'm iterating towards something that's useful, but man, this is okay. I thought I turned everything off. Okay, that should help. There was a tray that ran across the back of this desk, and let me switch scenes here. There was a tray that ran across the back of the desk that was like for putting cables and stuff in. And it just was like, it was accumulating stuff that got pushed off the desk. And there are monitors right here in front of me, almost the entire width across the desk. And maybe I won't show that. Just 'cause there's stuff up on the screen instead. Discord and things. But the issue is that things were getting shoved underneath the monitors and then falling into the bins, and it was just accumulating stuff, and I couldn't really get to it. So anyway, I took the bin off, which had the side effect that I can now mount my camera arm back there, this magic arm, which is great for doing close-ups, particularly when I'm shooting for YouTube. But the side effect was that the 2 power strips I had back there that were sitting in the trays are now on the floor, and so everything is shorter, and it's driving me a little bit batty, but I haven't really had a chance to properly fix it yet. So I am overdue from some shop infrastructure. I just wrote down a list of like 15 things, just little things that are like dragging me down. So anyway, yeah, we are, so anyway, I'm just ranting. What's going on up here? So let's get this microscope dialed in. It's just little things that, like, you know, 1 or 2 of them is no big deal, and it feels like, oh, I should just push past it, and then you start to accumulate them, and you're just like, it's like walking through freaking tar. So I don't know. I'm trying to shoot a lot more for YouTube. I'm spinning up a bunch of projects. I'm just getting a lot more busy, and so I'm trying not to get dragged down into the weeds. But man, it's really easy to. Just sort of, even just maintaining the shop infrastructure is like a lot of work. So I had an assistant for a while, and she hasn't been around for reasons. And so, anyway, I'm hoping that I can get a new assistant in here soon. So, Hiranya Garb, I am hearing the music that you're hearing through the headphones. Yeah. Doc Thumbs, thank you for the bits. I must have missed what you cheered though. Where was it? Was it something important? Or was it just bits because you're awesome? Shoot. Don't see it. Thank you for the bits. Say what if it was attached to saying something, say it again. Obsidian, thank you for posting the bomb. Can you add that bomb to the exclamation project in Nightbot? I updated that. And it has a link to the main project. Yeah, I don't see where you gave the bits, Thok Thumbs, so if you had a message attached to those, send it again. I missed it. I don't see it. Sorry. Nashi should have access. Eagle, yeah, I would like to do internships. The biggest barrier right now is COVID restrictions. So, oh, cool, Thok Thumbs. Hi. Thank you for the bits. I'm glad you're here. Eagle, yeah, talk to me afterwards. I do have something that might be a good internship, like a remote internship opportunity. So if you're, yeah, if people are interested in internships, come hang out on Discord and ping me afterwards. We can talk. Yes, I do need some remote help, and it might be something that would be a good internship, so. Yes, come talk to me. But, some of what I need help with is in person, which is just like sweeping up and things like that. I'm on a battle to fight dust and mud in the shop. In fact, I'm not wearing my outside boots in the shop anymore. I now have shop shoes because I was just tracking too much mud in the door. So I now have a boot tray where the boots, I pull off my boots when I walk in the door and I put on my shop shoes. And these are not exactly steel-toed, which is unfortunate, but I haven't been doing that much heavy metal work recently, so it's okay. If I weld, I'll clean the boots and switch into those. So yeah, it's just Jack. Thank you for subscribing with Prime. That's awesome. I appreciate that. You too, if you have Prime and you have not subscribed to another channel with it this month, you can subscribe. And I think if I push this button here, let's see if this does it. Did that pop up a thing? I don't know. I don't know what that actually did. There should be a reminder on your right-hand side of your screen. I don't know if that actually pops something up. But... Mainendra, yes, I do have Discord. If one of the mods can bring that link up on Nightbot, that would be awesome. They do have steel-toed tennis shoes? That's awesome. I want steel-toed tennis shoes. Where do I get those? Organ Leaf requests that we look at the outside cam. We can do that. Let's take a look outside before we... Here's my truck filled with boxes. So, I guess I'm leaking my license plate, but c'est la vie. It's been nice recently. It's been a bit warmer, and we haven't had snow in a while, so everything's starting to melt. So, yeah, it's not so much snow compared to what we did have. We had like a foot at one point, and that was... It's not a lot of snow in the grand scheme of things, but it's enough to sort of bog things down. So. All right, let's try out this camera switcher and make sure this is working properly. Wow, this is dusty. I'm a little wired today, if you haven't noticed. Okay. Let's recalibrate. Jimmy John Joe, thank you for subscribing with Prime. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. Whoa, 1.2 meters of snow today. That's what I'm talking about. That's real snow. That'll really screw things up. All right. Alexa, turn on the microscope. Okay. Yes, I am definitely going to go back to China after COVID. I probably won't live there post-COVID, but I'm definitely going to go back for trips and stuff. So, this is Kentolol. This is a microscope from Sume, my microscope vendor in Shenzhen. Min's Vision is her company, and someone can link to type exclamation microscope, and it will link you to the video I made about not this microscope, but a microscope from her that is very, very similar. All right, let's see if the switcher is working. It is, but the camera is not up. Let's fix that. Okay. I have a lot of energy this afternoon. I was very anxious before I started the stream, and now I'm just a little wired. There we go. Okay. Microscope is working. And the switcher's working. Okay, we're good. So let me get that back out of the way for a minute. And we will look through our BOM, our bill of materials, and make sure we have all our parts. That is really important to do before we jump into this. Kang Ho, I'm missing China a lot too. I feel you there. I really miss China quite a bit. Okay, so let's pull up the BOM and have a look. Right. Have fun, James. Have fun flying drones. Okay, so first and foremost, we will show off the most interesting thing. Let me just make sure I'm not leaking addresses. I don't think I did a good job. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I've got a phone number on there. Oh, I am leaking. Actually, that's fine. That one is down in the description. Okay. Good. I'm just gonna leave these boxes up. So, if you want to send me something, I will unbox it on camera, on stream. So there is a P.O. box down below. So if you have something cool and weird that you want to show everybody, or show me, or you want me to have, or you want it to be in the background somewhere, you can send me stuff at the P.O. box below. I get mail on Tuesdays and Thursdays because COVID. So let's take a look at this. So these are the screens. I got 2 of everything as an insurance plan to make sure that if I break something, we're not totally dead in the water for a couple weeks. So, yeah, I don't worry too much about people sending me really crazy crap to have in live, but you know, we'll see. Yeah, don't be super creepy, but these are the e-ink screens. I've got 2 of them. And wow, that's pretty crazy on the back. We're gonna have to look at these under the microscope for sure. But that's that. So I've got 2 of those. Those came from China. It took a while to get here. What do I expect? Weird tooth keycaps? I mean, I don't know why I would expect weird tooth keycaps. Scave-Rat has been making very hilarious and creepy keycaps. I think if you're up for it, Scave-Rat, we might have to do a video about that. We should talk. Because you've got some good ideas that would do well on camera. If you're interested. No pressure. And you know, everybody's into the keyboard thing right now, so could make for a fun video. Neano Cat, I don't know what size these screens are. Let's look. I did not design this. Joey Castillo did. And I bought the PCB from him, and then the bill of materials is open. So I just ordered everything from there. So about 91 millimeters, or a little over 3.5 inches by about 3 inches by, what is 3 inches? 3 inches is about 77 millimeters, but that's not fully active area. The active area is only about 66 millimeters wide, or 2.6 inches, which is, let's get it down to some reasonable fraction here. 2 inches and 9/16. So. Awesome, Eagle. I'll reply after the stream. Yeah, I don't know. I can measure the diagonal on it. I don't know if I've got a packing sheet or something in here. It might be in the BOM. I haven't opened that up yet. It's not quite 5 inches. It's 4.2 inches diagonal. It might be 5. No, it's not 5 in any way you measure it. Oh, that sucks, Krillin. I'm working on getting transcoding set up. It's like a whole thing right now. I'm trying to get a hold of the right person at Twitch. It's a long story I don't really want to get into on, but I'm bummed out about it. Scave-Rat, I got the screen. If you look in the BOM link that Obsidian posted, there's a link in there. So it's from China. I don't know where exactly. Oh, this is hard to get back in. Break it again. I broke something really expensive the other day, like a $500 part, and so I'm feeling a bit of trauma from that. I don't want to break this, putting it back in. But I don't want to leave it out because it'll get broken then too. So, yeah, unfortunately we don't have transcoding today. There you go. Sweet. Eagle, I don't want to say exactly what it was yet. I'm making a video about the part. Okay, let's open up the BOM and go through it. So let's see. Let's just do. Yeah, it's best to only do it at work. This is work for me, so there is a budget for breaking things, but it's still painful. So if you type !project, it will always tell you what I am working on. That's part of my checklist for starting a stream, is to put what I'm working on and links and stuff in there. So let's go look at this. So here we go. So this is the Tindy page where Joey's selling the boards that he designed. And the boards, actually, I should get that out. We should look at that first before we do anything else, because they're gorgeous PCBs. They're really quite cool. Okay, let me see if I can get a really good shot of this. Ooh, I can't, not close enough. How am I gonna do that? We need a closer view because these are really quite special. Can I reach that system? Myself? No. What did I just do? Uh-oh. Oh no! I tore my ribbon cable up here. Shoot. It's gonna be one of those days, I can tell. Come back, camera. There we go. Let me just do a thing real quick. So I've been using these ribbon cables to keep the HDMI cable out of the way of the camera screen, and I was worried that I was going to break them, and I think I just did. So we'll work on that later. Can I just... Hang on. Let me screw with this, because I really want to show you exactly how cool this is. Duplicate the scene. Zoom. Oh, jeez, what's going on? This is more of my IT issues that need to be fixed. Zoomed in. See. Okay. And then we're going to just make this thing. Oops. Sorry, I'm fixing things off screen here. Okay, I think that's good enough. Be a bit more. Hazer19, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate that. 2 months with Prime. Awesome. I really appreciate it. It goes a lot to making it so that I can make sure I've got all the right parts and stuff to do cool projects here on the stream. So, okay. Let's try this. How's that? I need to check focus again. That's looking pretty good. I just really want to show off how beautiful this is. So, the cool thing about this is that Joey has documented all of the little various things on the board itself. Normally people just have like, you know, a quick little name saying, oh, you know, this is IC7 or this is R8, which is like, you know, integrated circuit 7 or resistor 8. And then maybe somewhere else they have a description of, you know, what that component does, but they might just have a part number. And Joey has actually written, let me read some of this. He's actually written not just what the components are, but what each section does, right? This is the power supply up here. Here's the microcontroller. Here's the audio combo jack, the mic preamp. Here's the 2 megabyte QSPI flash. Is it QSPI? Yes. And he's got part numbers. He's got a colophone down here. Colophone. Credits and stuff. So it's quite cool. This is a very cool idea for a board. It makes it much more approachable, I think. And then he's got instructions all on the back here about how to build it and populate it and things. So, very, very cool stuff. And it's just a really nice board. I don't know if he had fabbed this, but it's top quality. Let's see what it says. So he's got it's open source hardware. He says, please don't steal the bear though, this bear. I'm way into this. So this actually is a find from Patrick OD, who's one of the mods here and a really close friend of mine. He's been in a couple videos. The RFID video, if nothing else, he's got blue hair. So yeah, this is very, very slick stuff. Okay, so I have 2 boards. I have 2 of everything, basically. I have enough to build 2. And I'm hoping I can actually build 2, but if I can't, if I break something, oops, then at least I'll have spares so I don't get stuck. Because getting stuck in a stream sucks. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I haven't been paying too much attention to chat because I'm looking at very cool boards. All right. Cool. So I want to go through the BOM, and then Joey actually sent me an email and was like, here's a link to a video of things that you should know before you start assembling this. And I forgot to watch it, so we can watch that together. Okay, let's look. Let's see. Let's open up some stuff. Let me get into the right browser and profile here so that I don't leak anything I don't want to. Okay. Not that scene, this scene. Right. Unfortunately, they're out of stock right now. I hope that they come back in stock because they're really cool. But you can jump on the wait list if you're interested here. So, oh, he's got an enlarged silkscreen. Very cool. So we can really read it properly. Awesome. Love it. It's so funny because in the manufacturing world, silkscreen is just they don't tend to use silkscreen very much. It's just an identifier of what parts go where and what orientation they go in. And the open source world is doing all sorts of cool stuff, whether it's art or like proper documentation like this, or just making it look really awesome. Okay. Okay, let's look at the BOM. And instruction booklet. Okay. And I think he was saying what that saying is that he included that in what I was sent. Nice. Okay. So he printed those things out and sent them to me. Why am I like loading in space here? That's never good. Let's fix that. Okay, so still floating in space a little bit. What was that sound? Let me go into Do Not Disturb Discord. Okay. So. Sweet. Yeah, this is... I'm glad you guys are as into this PCB as I am. It's really cool! Okay. So this is the BOM here. I also really like this kit space BOM because... So BOM is a bill of materials. It lists all of the parts that you need to build something, generally. And it's used a lot in manufacturing. But for something like this, that's open source, and where Joey chose not to kit this for some reason. So he didn't buy all of the parts. He's just selling the PCB for $15, which is, I'm sure, more than it cost for him to make it, but is a nice way for him to sort of get repaid for all of the work that he put into this. Without having to do all the work of sourcing and kitting the parts. Kitting is basically just where you buy in bulk all of the parts and then split them up into different kits. And it's a lot of work to make sure that you have done it 100% correct and everybody's getting the parts they need. But the cool thing about kit space is I got the PCB from Joey, and then I can click on these links up here, and it auto-populates an order for DigiKey or Mouser or whatever. Unfortunately, a few parts are out of stock, so I had to like make some substitutions and stuff. But it's very, very cool. Oh, check out Interactive BOM. Where's that? Interactive BOM here. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow. And it links to the board views, and you can zoom in, and it's got front and back. Oh, I like this. Why are more projects not using this? This is awesome. Oh, this is very, very cool. So I can click here. It's got checkboxes for sourced and placed. Oh, yeah. I'm into that. Oh, it's got net lists. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is... I did not know about this. You can change the layout here. Oh, yeah. Okay. And you can do just front and back, or just back. Oh, that's very, very cool. And it's got tracks and pads and... What the heck? Created using interactive HTML BOM. You just upload your KiCad? Oh, that's super cool. So you upload your board design, and then it generates out of that. That's very neat. Okay. This is a broken link to the assembly documentation. Is this what we want? Okay, here we go. Soldering strategies. Okay. I should have read this probably before starting the stream, but it's all good. Okay. I do want... Does it have dark mode? Where's dark mode? Is it in here? Oh, dark mode. Yeah, let's turn that on, because, of course. Oh, yeah. That's very slick. You can do full... Oh, yeah, this is... Oh, and you can have it darken when you've placed stuff? Okay, let's try that out. Oh, it's... I don't quite understand what's happening. Let's look at a single one. I don't know what's going on there, but... That's quite cool. Okay. So. I have the instruction booklet, which we found online. Okay, I'm gonna get these... I'm way into this. Okay, I think that sets the bar for open source hardware. Or open source assemble it yourself hardware. A new bar. All right. So give me a minute. Let me pull up the video that Joey sent me. And I don't know Joey personally, but we've been conversing over email because he reached out and was like, I'm not sure I have the right address for you, which is a common question because I'm living out in the middle of nowhere right now on this Native American reservation. It is complicated getting mail here. The USPS does not deliver mail to the reservation, to the Pueblo proper, because I don't fully understand why, but it has something to do with like the roads aren't official roads and they have to pay a whole bunch of money to make them official roads. That's what I've heard. And so anyway, like there's a post office box, and then, but if it's UPS, then it gets delivered here, and it's just it. And so addresses don't get verified properly. So anyway, it's been a debugging process to figure out the most reliable addresses to send stuff to. Okay, let's look at his video. Hopefully this is not super long. Oh, it is. It's 25 minutes long. Okay, let's take a quick look. Hang on. No, we're not going to do it there. We're going to do it on the other machine so that you all can hear it. So this is workable. Okay. I hope the audio is going to come through there. Apologies, this is sort of Scotty dialing in his streaming setup again. Okay. Let's hide that camera. Get me out of the way. How's that? Can we hear this? Can I hear this? Let me turn off the music for a sec. Why? Oh, hang on. That should work. You're not hearing any music, are you? A wheel?
This is Joey, and today we're going to be assembling the ebook feather wing.
Bugger.
The ebook wing is designed to be assembled by hand. We're going to do it this way today. We have here the materials we need for soldering. Our soldering iron with a fine tip.
You're hearing music. Are you hearing Joey now?
Placing our components.
You should not be hearing music anymore. But you should be hearing the video. Are you hearing the video? I'm not hearing the video. Maybe it's just really quiet. Oh, yeah. Okay, I can hear it. Okay, let's turn it up.
We're going to use to test for continuity and make sure we don't have any shorts when we have to assemble the board. And
okay.
Oh, hi. This is Joey, and today we're going to be assembling the ebook feather wing. So the ebook wing is designed to be assembled.
You can hear it. Okay, is the volume reasonable?
We have
oh, hey, Helen.
For soldering, our soldering iron with a fine tip, our fine-tipped tweezers for picking and placing our components. This flux.
It's kind of just an intro to SMD soldering.
I'm using this
grid
that matches their order on the bill of materials. This way, I can populate each part and seal it.
Okay.
But sometimes it's hard to read the silk screen. That's why you should always consult the. It's actually pretty straightforward. We're going to take our soldering iron and our thin solder, and create a little blob of solder here on one side of the footprint. A little blob.
I think we're just talking about how to do SMD soldering.
And that's
which.
For a second, so we can get a better sense.
Okay.
Heating upside, apply.
I can guide us through that.
We're going to place our pull up our 6 for the Babel flash chip to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna fast forward through this.
Like the 0.
This is how I watch videos often.
Resistor. It's a current sense resistor. So the e-paper display has a boost circuit.
Okay.
These are 100 ohms. They're resistors. Next,
there's Joey.
C1 lives over here in the extra ports block. The micro SD card, and that's to buffer any. So those were our 10 microfarad capacitors. The next one is a big line. There's 12 of these. These are the keep that voltage level stable. Let's do it.
Okay.
Or analog output of the AZ.
I'm just trying to see if there's any big gotchas here.
We've got our 3 volt.
These are all just little surface mount components that we can totally do.
The diodes have a little line on the plastic that should match up with the line.
Okay. We got to orient our diodes properly. You know how to do that.
Contacts match up with the pads. So it's got 3. As long as the 3 line up, you're so.
Okay. I'm not seeing anything that sounds
indicates that
super surprising.
Put a little pad on.
Yeah. Okay. This all seems pretty straightforward stuff. I'm a little bit worried about the display, but I think there's a connector for that.
Intentionally.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Sorry, I don't mean to be dismissive of Joey here. This is
Now
all
the
good
microscope
advice.
part. This part is actually tricky. Kind of fun, though,
Okay.
once you understand it.
This is what I'm looking for.
This part right here. So, you might be wondering,
watch this.
how am I supposed to solder these things on this pad that's way underneath? Well, we're going to put a little pool of solder on one of these connectors here. And I'm just going to use my fingers because it's such a
Tinning his
big,
pads.
chunky part.
Extra points for using the word chunky.
Okay, so the slot is kind of on there now. If you look through here, we want to see all of these pins
Oh,
aligned.
Joe, you need a better
with the pads
microscope.
underneath. So they're almost there right now. We're just going to kind of scoot the slot into place. And then once it's in place, we can solder down the rest of the mounting points on the front. This will kind of lock the slot into place. The way I like to do this is, if you look at it from this
Oh,
angle,
awesome, Helen.
you can see where the
That's
pins
exciting.
are right there. And you can feed your solder in from above.
This is hilarious.
To get a shot of this, but here I've propped the board up.
Okay. We could do that.
On the top and the soldering iron in at a right angle from the side.
The tricky solder
Just make sure to double check with your magnifying device, and if you missed any pins like these two that were clearly missed, you can always go back and resolder them, and
We can totally
should
do
be
that.
good to go.
Awesome.
Okay. So that's our micro SD slot. That is one of the two tricky parts. Let's just do our jacks, and
What's the other tricky
we'll
part?
save the hard part for last. Forward.
Okay. What's the hard part?
You place after that.
Do those.
Just to.
Okay. All right, Joey.
We're
What's
at
the other
the
hard
last,
part?
challenging part, and that is the flex connector. So this bit is a really fine-pitched 24-pin connector.
Okay.
So there's a trick to it, basically. You're going to use a fair amount of solder flux, and we're going to, well, I'll just kind of show you on the microscope.
Okay.
So let's just do what we've always been doing. Put down a little blob of solder. It's pretty good. So we get our placement right.
Okay.
Looks pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a little bit of our solder flux, not bridge. One of our pins. We were doing before.
Flux.
Solder down the soldering iron contact with the joint. It can help just to drag it.
Then we're just kind of drag soldering. Okay.
You're going to see stuff like this.
Cool.
Tease that method works. Use
We
your
can do
solder.
that.
If you have a method, we've now soldered our our power and our ground, and you'll know it's in this mode because when you touch the little things together, it'll make a.
Just doing
That's
checking
because you don't
for
want to plug your feather in
shorts.
and then have a short, like, cause bad things to happen. So we're going to turn our multimeter into continuity mode.
Yeah.
Beeping sound.
And just
So all we have to do for now is find our ground and our 3-volt and touch them to each other. And as long as you don't hear a beep, you don't have any shorts. So that's
sweet.
the pins open up Arduino test board M4 Express, because that's happening.
Okay, and then flash stuff on.
Into it, and then you'll feed it through the
Ooh.
hole up here.
And into the connector.
Work it
Okay.
in.
Sweet.
It's good. Let's close the little latch.
Yeah. Okay. We can do this.
Your ebook feather the screen.
Okay.
So let's start. Switch comes in from the bottom. Ring iron.
Okay. And then we got some stuff
We'll replace
on
the
this
screen.
side.
We took this and just put the flex. Double-sided tape works well if you want to permanently.
Sweet. Okay. I think we got the most important parts there. So that is a very good video. I skipped through a lot of it because I'll explain a lot of those things, or at least my tricks for doing those things as we go through it. And because I don't think it's a little bit too slow to watch a 25-minute video on a live stream. Let's quickly look at the assembly instructions, soldering strategies. Let's see, hang on. Bring up that. Soldering strategy I'm going to do. I don't know which one I ended up getting there. We might replace the micro SD card slot. Okay, I don't know what I ended up doing here. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Tricolor e-ink has 10 to 15 second refresh. Wow. Okay. I don't know that I got all of the recommendations there. I didn't see this section. That's all right. Okay, I think we're good on soldering strategies. We're not going to reflow it because I don't have a setup to reflow. I should get one at some point. Polarity of diodes and LEDs. Yes, matters which direction you put them in. Be careful that we don't mix up Q1 and Q2. Don't mix up diodes. Basically put the right stuff in the right place. Okay. So the board, what order we go in? I think we just do all the passives first. Okay, and he's got great debugging information here. Cool. I think we're good. I think we're good. And then he has amazing, like, how to understand his design, which I wish more people would write. He's clearly a very good writer, and that is somewhat rare in electronics world. Okay. So, yeah, this is powered by a feather wing. Okay, so let's jump into this. I'm excited. I hope you all are excited too. I'm a little bit... I need to figure out exactly how we're going to rig cameras for this so that you can all see. I guess really what we should do is... Actually, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to check that we got everything we need. So... let's bring up this. Put the cameras. Let's see. How are we going to do this? Maybe like this. Okay. And I would like to see just the list of parts right now. So this was something that I should have done off stream. I think it's going to go a little slow, but we'll quickly do it. Okay. So one of the really cool things that you can do, I think on both Mouser and DigiKey, I ordered these parts off of a combination of both, is that you can put in your customer part number. So this is actually the reference number on Joey's BOM, right? So this is Q1. So I can just scroll through here and go, okay, yep, we have Q1, which should be, well, it's a MOSFET. It's a MOSFET. And DMG. I had to make some substitutions, so I'm not sure all the part numbers are going to match up, but regardless, we have some MOSFETs in there, and this is the sourced column here. I drag this over. I guess not. Okay. Oh, wow, he's a software engineer for work, and this is his own self-directed hardware learning. That's really awesome. Okay, so what we got next? We got NeoPixels. Yep, we got those. And I ordered, when it came to components, I ordered a lot more than I needed. Partly because I figured with a design like this, one, I might break something, but two, it's nice to have extras of something that someone else has used in a relatively open source design that's, you know, relatively easy to assemble. Like, these are things that I might use in a future project, so it's nice to just have some stock as well. This is Q2. We need one of those. So I ordered 4 of these. I ordered 10 NeoPixels. I ordered 5 of Q1, you know. I think I meant to order 5 of Q2 and they only had 4 in stock, something like that. Okay. This is U3. Let me sort this by reference here, so at least they're alphabetical. U3 is the microcontroller. And these, where are they at? What are these? This is a microchip ARM. I hope I got the right thing. Yeah, okay. And then I guess it has a... Oh, it has a microcontroller and the Featherwing. Okay. So that was all that was in that bag from Mouser. One more stuff from DigiKey. I think this is the majority of the DigiKey order. There might be stuff in here that's other projects. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Okay, so this is U1. Whoa. U1. This is CHG, which is a LED. CHG, which is probably a charging indicator. Yeah, it's hard to be cost competitive on a project like this because of volume. Everything costs more when you want to buy only a few of it. Unmarked USB port, top center. I don't know what this is on here. It might not show up here, but this is micro USB ports. Tactile switches. Customer reference optional. I don't know. I'm gonna set these aside for a minute. C24. I only got 2 of them? That's suspicious. C24. Okay. Okay, these are Featherwing headers, and they say unmarked. D5, D6. Yep, got those. C33. C1, C2. Yep. I'm just going to assume that I ordered the right thing. I'm not actually checking values and stuff. Because I spent a lot of time ordering it, so I don't know. That's probably foolish of me, but... We'll find out. Jack J1. This is so cool. I've not had an interactive BOM like this before. Button lock, button reset. There we go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There are people whose entire job is doing what I am doing. Another unmarked. Just receive inventory of parts and check them against BOMs. So your circuit board assembly factories, your PCBA factories will do this. Entire people who do this. We showed it briefly in the circuit board assembly factory, the PCBA factory we did with one of PCBWay's assembly factories. And they had some women right at the end. They showed some women in a room receiving inventory, and they were actually checking. They were actually pulling components out of tape, I think, and checking values, if I remember properly. Which sounds excruciating, but it is a good way to not screw up. You know, a potentially very expensive production run. So I'm setting stuff aside where I'm not finding the component in the list. Skabrat, I don't have any news on when stuff is available. Maybe Obsidian does. SW1. Yeah, Ultimo Geno, I don't really know the quality either. I think we're going to have to see here. I think it's going to be pretty good, but it's not a fully finished device. It doesn't have a plastic case or anything. So this is debug port. So, you know, I mean, you're kind of getting something that's usable, but not like a fully finished product the way you would with a Kindle. And you're not getting the ecosystem around it. R23. Okay. FB1, FB2. I didn't have to order all of these passives. I have, actually, that's a cool thing to show. Hang on. Get a thing. So, if you get into designing and or assembling surface mount circuit boards, you should buy yourself a set of these. This is a sample book, and these are resistors that are size 0805. And it has everything from 0 ohms all the way up to 10 mega ohms in a wide variety of different values. And, oh, I forgot we lost our music. Whoa, that's probably really loud, though. Sorry. That's also loud for me. So the idea here is that if you need to adjust a value in a design, or you just don't want to order all of the passives every time, you can pull it out of your sample book. And I have 0805, 0603, and 0402 sample books on hand for both resistors and capacitors. So if I need a capacitor or a resistor of any of those sizes in pretty much any value, I have them ready to go. So, I don't know what the file type is for the ebooks just yet, Morgan. Maybe somebody can look through the documentation and answer that, but I have not figured that out yet. You can get these sample books on, I think I got those on Amazon. I don't know if I have a link in kit.co to those. I should add one. Okay, ferrite. We got ferrite chokes, I guess? I don't know. Ferrite beads. R13, R14. That's interesting. This also says R6. These are, I don't know, that'll be interesting. These are resistor arrays. And I only have 4 of them, but I think it'll be okay. We'll at least be able to build one. Hey, Sir Cuso! Long time no see. The sample books cost maybe $30 a piece, something like that. They're not super cheap, but it's kind of a lifetime supply, right? You buy it once, and you can get refills for super, super cheap. You're not going to use it up in a lifetime, really. So unless you're building a lot of something, in which case you should just order the values you need. So it's a one-time investment. R6. Oh, that's weird. Why are those weird? Those were 2 different line items, I guess. Huh. And they're one line item here. Okay, R9, R17. Oh yeah, this is the same thing. R17, 18, 19, 20. And then R9 here. But they're the right values. Okay. I guess I should be paying attention to all of the numbers in here, not just the first one. 2, 11, and 26. R6. R6 again? Didn't we just do R6? Yeah. Well then. They gave me extras. Because you can even see, I think this is their index on their order sheet. So it looks like I got double. Which, but maybe I would have ordered 2. So I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but I'm also not convinced that I got a component That's empty. What the heck, guys? Okay, that's a DigiKey fail right there. There is no part in this baggie. Okay, that is one. That's pretty amazing. I don't know. Can you see that? Hang on. I've got this zoom in feature. Look at that versus that. One of these things is not like the other. Okay, that's something to email DigiKey about. It's fine. We have enough components, but this is why you order extra. I've never seen that before. Is it really empty? I don't want to open it up before I take a picture of it. Well, I guess I could just take a picture of it. Write an email. Dudes. Dudes, what the heck? Okay. And I'm going to take a picture of this. Okay. Now we can open it up and look for real. That's hilarious. You guys mailed me an empty piece of tape. That's pretty special. Yep, empty. Amazing. It's a QA fail for you right there. Okay. Get rid of that. All right. So I guess this is a good reason we're checking our BOM, right? Fortunately, we're in good shape. We're not. Okay, we've got R1 and R3 and 7 and 8 and 28 and 29. Where are those? I don't see it. 28, 29. But we have them. 30, 31. I don't see any of those. 32, 33. None of those are here, but it's fine. Onward. R12. Yes. Have some of those. Which are 0.47 ohms. That's pretty amazing. C36. Yes. C13. Yes, and 32. Which is included in here and has no value? Okay. We're gonna need to double check some of these. This is... But I think these are no populate. No? I don't know. I don't know what the values of these should be. We're gonna have to look into that. R4, R5, R10. R4, R5, R10, 15. Just here, 16, 21, 22, and 25. Okay, yes. And those are both the same. I'm not sure why these show up as different line items, but it is what it is. C34. Yes. L1. I want to go see DigiKey's warehouse. I want to see how, either DigiKey and or LCSC. I want to see how they pack this stuff. And I've seen little videos, but I want to see it in person and make a good video about it. One. I think that would be pretty interesting. Button lock, button reset. Marked those as already received, but we'll figure that out. With 2 of those, well, let me dig back through. I shouldn't have 2 of something. I guess this is what I get for not paying super close attention when I was ordering things. Oh, these are for 2 different versions of the board. Okay. What version do I have? I have A106, so I'm going to stick that somewhere else. Okay, good. I'm glad I figured that out. D1. I promise we're going to do some soldering today. U5. U7. Oh, thank you, Obsidian. The C1, C2. I've just reverse stacked my set here. C1. Okay. 10 microfarads? Yep. No, wait, 05. And I've got 18 of them, so I think we're good. Did I get U7 marked off? Yes. U2. Huh? D234. Yes. LED green. Customer reference FUL. Aha. U4, U6. U4 and U6. Yes. Deboppy, thank you for the hydration reminder. I just saw it now. I need a flashing light for those. Yeah, I think once I can get back to China, I have a pretty solid chance of doing an LCSC tour. And I've had some contact with DigiKey, so once I'm able to travel again, I think that might be an opportunity as well. Okay. Yes. Let's see what else we got. Mark, this is headers. Okay. Okay, so where's the rest of the parts? Let's see what we're missing. Yikes. This is not the fun part of making things. I agree. Where is everything? Let's turn off the switcher. I mean, the jelly bean parts are all 805s, so we will have those. We definitely have some of those. We have some of those in those sample kits. We have some of these, some of those. What else are we missing? I don't know that we have that. Oh, fiducials are... that's not a placeable part. Fiducials are marks on the board for assembly. That's a logo. Just needed a little bit more filtering. This is a switch that we may or may not have. The forward and back switch. I think these are headers. But these might be the things that we don't have references for. Okay, so I have the micro SD card. That's here. And I have the headers. Okay, let's actually look at the board now. It is time. So I don't know. It's possible I have capacitors that I just didn't mark. But regardless, we can replace those. These are some buttons that we may or may not have. Oh yeah, here we go. We have those. Button previous next, which is just under a different... I think we're okay here. I think that's... I have next, up, down, left, right, select. So let's say we have those. What are these are like serial port connections. Okay, so those are headers. I have those. What the heck is this? I don't know whether this is the wing version or the normal version. I guess. I don't know. I don't think I ordered any feather wings. Oh, hope it's the normal version. It's been a while since I sourced these parts because it took a while for them to come in. So let's hope that I don't need a feather wing on here. Okay, that is the feather wing. Okay, so we are missing that, but I don't... Is there just... There's one with just a regular microcontroller, right? I don't know what this is. Oh, I bet this is the USB connector. I'm going to say that we have that. Tentatively. So I might have been supposed to order some feathers. Whoops. So, I mean, yeah. I'll figure that out. What is this? That's a JST connector of some sort. Which I bet is this thing here. Unmarked battery connector. I don't think I ordered a battery either. Okay, I'm going to say that we have that. Debug port. Is this the serial port? It might be this thing. X2. Position. It's a 2x5. I think it's this. So I'm going to mark X2 on here. Question mark. Okay. We've got some headers for feather wings. Feathers, I guess. Here's the flex connector. I don't know if that's... Oh, this is art. Let's get rid of those. Those are holes. So the reason that these are showing up here, like art and holes and things, is that they're parts that were placed in the design as components. And it's just kind of how the design software works. And so, you're pulling things out of a library, and so it makes sense to have them be there. These are test points. So again, these are not things that you buy, right? They really shouldn't be in the BOM, but they are features of the board, right? So these are test points here. So these are just the these dots right here. And those are for probing various signals with a multimeter. So we're going to say we have those. Solder jumpers, again, that's just a feature on the board, not a populatable component. Okay, so what are we missing? We're missing a few resistors. Which we probably already have, but if we don't, I've got them in stock. A feather wing. So let me write that down. We probably need a feather wing. Or some paper. So we need a feather wing. Or a feather or a feather wing? Feather wing. I don't know. Figure it out. That's my bad. And what else? Those headers we have, I think. I think they're just standard spacing headers for a serial port. So cool. Let's just say we have those. And they just look like normal 2.54 millimeter spacing. So that and this. That must be the USB port. This is a USB port, top center. Yep. Okay. So that's, what is that marked as on here? J2. Okay. Oh, we've got vocals in here. I usually turn off vocals. Let's switch to a instrumental only feed here. Does the bottom right corner say open book or feather? The open book. So I just need a feather. Is that right? Let's go look at the actual thing. There are open book pair PCB. Feather compatible. Oh yes, right. The feather wing was a simpler build, so I was like, nah. Does this require a feather? Still don't understand. No. It looks like it doesn't. Right there. Okay. Cool. Yeah, but this doesn't actually have a feather, right? What's going on? Yeah, it seems like it just uses the SAMD 51 processor bare, right? Yeah, Panda Boy, I think we should 3D print a case. I think there is a case design out there. Okay, so we've got the open book. Let's just look at the BOM here. Just make sure I didn't do anything terribly stupid. Don't think I did. But you never know. I think we're good. I think it's just got the processor soldered on. So onward and upward. Okay. Yeah, it's weird that it has pads for it and then we don't populate it, but you know. Okay. So let's dive. So does that mean we're good? We're missing some caps, but that's probably just bad accounting on my part. And we're missing a feather wing, but we're not building that version. And some resistors, which is no big deal. I think we're good. Great. Onward. Okay. So let's put everything that's not a resistor or a capacitor away for a minute after I got everything out. And then we'll just work our way through the resistors and capacitors. And that will create some level of sanity in the assembly here. So we can, no, get rid of all this. Diodes, switches. Okay. Capacitors, resistors. I wonder if some of this stuff is auto-packed. Like, if the stuff on tape, if they've just got a way to automate it. That would be very cool if they did. I wonder if that explains why we've gotten packages that are empty. I'm very curious to what you will say. Probably just going to say, oh, we sent you a new one. Very sorry. All right. Let's dive into it. Yeah, I mean, Escape Rat, I've seen videos of people walking down an aisle with a cart and a pair of scissors and cutting a certain number of components off. I think that was LCSC had a video like that. So you'd be surprised, but DigiKey might be a different story. Okay. So I got my pile of components, and I think we're just going to work through it in whatever order it comes up. I got my tweezers, I got a board, put the other board away. Yeah, I mean, definitely people are not paying quite as much for labor in China, but the gap's closing. It's nobody, all the factory bosses, when I talk to the factory bosses about wages and stuff, and it doesn't come up that often, but if I talk to them, they say, oh, you know, I can't hire anybody at minimum wage anymore. I have to pay sometimes as much as double minimum wage for just regular assembly line workers. And minimum wage is like, I don't know. I don't know what it is now, but a couple years ago, it was like $3 something an hour. But people are paying at least $5 an hour now, which is like it works out to be a pretty okay wage, particularly when you consider most assembly line workers are living in the dorms at the factory, and the factory is feeding them at least 2 or 3 meals a day. So, you know, it's not bad. It's not, you know, you're not going to become a millionaire that way, but it's not slave wages either. And it's really interesting talking to the factory bosses about how they're so frustrated they can't get cheap labor anymore. So, yeah, and it's always Chinese factory bosses. So, they don't live in the factory; they live in separate dormitory buildings. People often travel quite a long way to work in a factory, so they'll come from the countryside in. And they might travel, you know, many hours by train. So they're just there. Most of them are sort of like there for a year, essentially. So Chinese New Year to Chinese New Year. And they may do it for a couple of years, but it's kind of to make money and then go home and have a better life at home. So a lot of people are really motivated to work as many hours as they possibly can. They really like working overtime and things like that. They're there to work. So it's not quite as bad as it sounds. But yeah. But yeah, they're not, I've not seen inside dormitories, but my understanding is it's bunk beds. It's pretty basic. But I think in some factories it can be a little bit more. But it's not fancy apartments. Let's see. Correct. Is that working? Reset it. Oh. Microscope camera's off again. There we go. All right, let's get this. Alexa, turn on the soldering iron. Let's get all my solder stuff here. Solder and wick. Yeah, some flux. Finally got some rosin flux that doesn't make me horribly. It doesn't make me cough. Got some chip quick. RMA 591 for leaded applications. So, yeah. Commandant Space, yes, they do get time off. Most people work a 6-day week in China. Office workers are starting to move to like a 5-day week, but it'll often be like, it'll be a 5.5-day week. So they'll work one Saturday on, one Saturday off. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just part of the hustle in China. People are like big hustlers. Everybody's like, one important thing to know when you are thinking about China in general is it's one statistic that I remember that completely changed the way I think about China. So in 2000, 15% of the population was considered middle class by a metric for China. It might not be the same metric we use in the West to define middle class, but regardless, middle class, I think the metric was more than 50% of their income is disposable. So it's not going to housing, food, healthcare, the basics, right? So 15% in 2000, I believe the number is either 10 or 15%. In 2015, it was 65%. So in 15 years, 50% of the population went from lower class to middle class. So everybody, the way to think about it is everybody in China now has like disposable income and a reasonable lifestyle. Not even like within the generation, but like within recent memory. And so, and everybody remembers what it was like to be like dirt poor. And so, and they have seen the entire society rise. They've seen themselves rise, their entire families rise up. And so there is still very much a feeling of like, everybody's getting their hustle on. Everybody wants to make their life better. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to show off their new wealth. And so, but because it's very new, like not everybody's sure about how to do that. So you see ridiculous things. Like I've seen a guy with 3 luxury watches on his arm. And like, we would consider that ridiculous in the West. But it's like, if you don't know the rules, like, sure, if you could afford 3 watches, why not wear them? So yeah, it can be wild. Yeah. So that might help you understand like why people would work a 6-day week, or why it's not really a big deal to work at the factory or to be staying at the factory, right? Like, yeah. Yeah. Expensive packs of cigarettes is definitely a way to show off. I have given gifts of gold foil wrapped packs of cigarettes to factories when I was we were doing a shoot where we just needed to get in the front door of some factories and just have a factory as a background. And so we just walked up to some workers and said, here's some gold foil packs of cigarettes, we gave it to the boss. And the boss was like, sure, do whatever you want. And they all had a smoke break and watched the goofy foreigner walk through their factory, walking and talking, and everybody was happy. They thought it was really cool. And it was no big deal. Like, it wasn't like we were violating secrecy or something. They were making giant machinery for, it was like a metalworking factory for making machines for making shoes. So it was like not particularly secret or anything. They were very open about what they were doing. So yeah. Yeah. All right, let's do some soldering. I'm gonna start with. I'll reset this one more time. Okay, so it's a little bit too sensitive. That should be better. Okay, I think that's better. Okay. Yeah, I think I would enjoy working in a factory too, almost an engineer. There are certain jobs in a factory I would definitely not want. And this is too sensitive. Stop being so sensitive. There we go. Not sensitive enough. I'm setting the threshold on the. Let's try again. I screwed around with it when we were making the case. Now I done broke it. Uh-oh. You can't do anything now. This was one of the things when I was designing it that I wasn't sure how easy it was going to be to adjust this. The last time I adjusted, I had it plugged into the computer and I could read the values. Okay. I have it turned all the way one direction, which makes me nervous. But so C1. Where are these components? So let's look. Let's start with this, I think. Is this gonna work? Something like that. I'll turn the brightness down on the microscope slightly. Turn this up. Yeah, something like that. Okay. All right. So, I don't know what the orange boxes are, but it's going to be 3 components. Okay, here we go. C1, C2, and C3. So I'm going to get these out of the tape here. Now, I might end up doing these a bit different than Joey did in the video. I don't tend to pre-tin my pads, but we'll see how this goes. If I have problems with them moving around on me, I will put some solder down first. But honestly, recently I've been not doing that and having a lot of luck. So there's a New Mexico. Yeah, there is a New Mexico. It's north of Mexico. I have a close friend, Stuart, who's actually been in at least one video, a couple. He was in the pinball video, and he was in the first RFID video. We went to his lab and played with figuring out what the RFID chips were. We had a call recently, and I told him, let's have a call at such and such time, Mountain Daylight Savings. And he thought I was joking. He didn't realize that was actually a time zone. But yeah, we actually do have a mountain standard and a Mountain Daylight Savings time. It's where it's for Colorado and New Mexico and those sorts of states. Oh, this might move around on me too much. Oh, soldering iron's not on. Alexa, turn on the soldering iron.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really going to speak much more to the politics here. But the reality is, like, if I want to make the kind of content that I make, for a bunch of reasons, there are some things that I need to be sensitive to. And it sounds like not everybody understands that. And I understand that. But it ranges from, I don't want to make content. I don't know. I want to make content about things that I'm excited about. So, and also, I want to continue to be welcome. And in China, that often means being positive. It's part of Chinese culture. So, I am guessing, based on what some people are saying, that you might watch other content creators that are very negative about China, and they don't go to China, regardless of what they tell you. So, I often have to walk a very fine line with the content that I make, and I can't go into details about it often. And it often comes down to personal safety issues. So it's very, very serious. And I am often walking a very fine line. So I still think there is a lot of value in what I do. And I think there are things sometimes that I can show but not talk about. And I think there's a lot of value to that. And I think that there's a lot of value in just showing that people all around the world are not that different than we are. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to get back to soldering now. So that was C1. This is C2. Yeah, maybe I should pre-tin. I'll try pre-tinning and see if I like that better. I've not done that on the last few projects. Ooh, we got a tombstoning component. It's where they stand up on end like this. It happens more in reflow ovens where there's air blasting down on them. Ooh. They sometimes get flipped up by the air. Love how that's sitting, but it's fine. Ooh, might not be now. Pick this up and start over. Okay. Let's try this again. All right. Okay, we've done C1, C2. Oh, shoot. I wasn't supposed to do C3. That was a different value. Let's double check it, but I got distracted by chat here. That's not highlighting. What is C3? C3 is something else. Okay. Let's... Okay. All right. C4. Where is C4? Probably up in the corner here. Wow, some of these labels are quite small. I guess. Oh, I see. Okay, C4 is here. And I'm going to fix focus on the microscope. All right. I'm going to rotate the board so that I can hit it. I can pick it up with the tweezers in the right orientation. This is nice because these components are pretty big. 0805 is pretty big, all considering. Can maybe get out some 0402 in a sec and show you what a little bit smaller looks like compared to this. And they go much, much smaller than that. I haven't stocked them because if you get too small, it's really hard. I think I've done 0201 by hand, but 01005. There are 01005s on the iPhone, and they're teeny. Okay, so let me show you some 0402s. So I've done 0402 next to a 0805. Those are 0402s. In some sense. They're still doable by hand. You know, I can move them around with tweezers and stuff, but they're definitely a lot smaller. So, anyway, these components are cheap enough that you can just knock them off brush them off your fingers, and they fall on the floor. So, no big deal. All right. Okay. So, C1, C2, C4. C11. Looks like these are down here. Next to, yeah, there's C11. Okay. Another one. And we can check our component values too. Oh, this was the one that wasn't labeled on there, but we already verified that. Okay. Help from Obsidian, I think. Yeah, all right. All right. Yeah, flux generally helps the solder flow better. Makes it more liquid. And yeah, it gives you that nice sort of tenting. If you don't use flux, so there's actually flux in this solder. You get sort of more lumpy solder. And if you reheat the same solder over and over again, you sort of get this crumbly, lumpy sort of look to your solder. And it causes all sorts of problems. Okay, and then we've got a C32 down in the mic amp. Boy, can't really read that. That's the third one in. Oh, there we go, I see it. Okay. So tinning is actually working out pretty well for these. I don't like to have a huge glob there. I don't know. I already got one out. Okay. save these. Hoping to build 2 of these. Yeah, exactly. Grid rain, hit it on the head. So if you have pads that are really close together, having more liquid solder and your solder mask, which repels solder, helps the solder flow to the right places and not create a bridge across where you don't want solder across the solder mask. So on this board, the black is the solder mask and the white is the silk screen. And the white silk screen is just for labeling and just for humans, but the black is really important. I mean, obviously it makes the board look cool, but it also prevents solder from sticking anywhere we don't want it. So like it prevents solder from sticking right here between these 2 pads. Turn this sideways. Hey, Sexy. I've been on Twitch for like 2-3 months now. If you want, Kentolol, if you want to solder something and might have to resolder an ESC to a motor, should you use flux? Yeah. Like, flux is generally better when you're working on really small things. If you're working on big things, like, soldering wires to motor controllers, often the flux in the solder is enough. But if you feel like the solder's not flowing and it's not acting super liquid the way you're seeing this solder, then yeah, totally add flux. Like, flux doesn't really hurt anything. So yeah, definitely more folks are moving over from or not moving, but like more YouTubers are trying out Twitch. I've been really enjoying it. So. Oh, Kentolol, yeah. Yeah, if you're soldering like motor wires on a drone. Yeah, I don't know. I actually repaired some motors on my DJI Mavic, and I don't know if I used any flux. It's nice to have some on hand at the very least. Okay, we are done with our first line item here. Check. Okay, so let's just. Whoa. Okay. I don't like that gap at the top. Go away, gap. How's that? I'll get a gap on the side. Dang it. Okay. Something like that. Okay, well, let's just keep pulling up the pile here, I think. I'm going to make a pile over here. C24. That one. Which is where? Up here. Okay. C24. Yes. Okay. Let's just put some solder there. But you can tell, like, I'm not actually using any flux right now. I'm just using the flux in that's in the core of the solder. So I've been adding a little bit here and there, but I'm not adding flux on everything. When we start doing chips, like ICs, and I start doing some drag soldering and stuff, then I will totally add more flux. So there's some different techniques here. We got a bunch of folks in here. This is a pretty good stream. 188 folks are what I'm seeing. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so Louis Rossmann always says use more flux, and he's right, particularly for repair, right? So one, on Macs and iPhones, you got super small parts, right? So surface tensions and, you know, solder that's not flowing properly is a way bigger deal. But also, he's resoldering stuff, right? So he's dealing with old solder, so he needs to add more flux. He's 100% right, and it is fine that I am not adding a ton of solder right now, or a ton of flux. As long as I'm getting joints that look good. If I start getting joints that look bad, I will add more flux. But if you are having trouble getting something to solder properly, often adding flux will dramatically improve your results. I would also bet, I haven't watched Lewis in a little while, but I bet that he doesn't use much like solder wire like this. And he's using, I would bet that occasionally he's using some solder paste, but often he's probably just using the solder that was already there when he pulls stuff up. So yeah. But I mean, drowning things in flux, like there is an upper limit. If you're getting flux all over a whole bunch of other components and then hitting it with hot air, you can sometimes sort of, that will absorb a lot of heat and then you'll melt everything around it in ways that you don't want. But yeah. Tolerane. Yes, jittery hands and soldering. So there are a bunch of tricks. One, get a microscope. If you can see better, your hands will shake less. It sounds weird, but there is a feedback loop between your eyes and your brain and your hands. Get an optical microscope, not a digital microscope. So you want to be looking through optics to the piece and not have any electronics in the way. It's because of delay. You don't want any delay in that feedback loop. So, you know, you can get those little $10 USB microscopes that, you know, you plug into your computer and you see the image on the screen. Too much delay. Don't do it. They're fine for inspection, but you don't want to actually solder under them. Cut out caffeine before you solder. Add sugar. So if you're low on blood sugar, your hands will shake. If you've been having caffeine or other stimulants, your hands will shake. Those are the big ones. And then just having like a comfortable position that you're in is helpful, and like bracing your hands. I'm, you know, obviously resting the bottom of my hand on the table. And so that helps. Those are a few tips. So, and then, yeah, just like rigging your work up so that nothing is moving on you. Whether it's sticky tape or I've got a bunch of soldering jigs. Switch cameras here. I have some soldering jigs sitting up on the shelf behind me. You can't see them super well because the lighting is a little dim. Let me crank up the lights. So, oh, you still can't see them. Anyway, I've got like 3 or 4 different ways to hold circuit boards and stuff, ranging from this, which is actually magnetic for holding really small stuff like iPhone boards. So these actually have slots in the side and you can move them around so you can sort of pin a board into place and the board sits up off the back. Ranging from that to like helping hands. So quad hands. And these have sort of adjustable pinchy bits, magnetic. So that's helpful for like wires and bigger stuff, to like bigger PCB holders like this here. And if I was doing through hole, I might be using this jig for this project, but because I'm doing surface mount and it's mostly on one side, I can just put it flat on the table. So a few tips. But yeah, I mean, jittery hands is an issue, but you can There are a number of ways you can work around it and work through it, and then just practice. Oh, sorry, did it switch to the microscope? Oops, sorry. Hopefully you saw whatever I was trying to show. Okay, we've got C24 in there. Sweet, so we'll check that off. God, I love this interactive BOM tool. It's so cool. Yeah, Soldering. No worries. Yeah, try sugar and jigs. It depends on what scale you're doing. If you're doing surface mount stuff like this, I don't know. My eyesight isn't perfect anymore, I don't think. And so I don't know. I just find it a lot less stressful to be under a microscope. This microscope and the one I have in China are a little bit pricey. Like the one I have in China is functionally more or less equivalent to this. This one has a nicer camera and a nicer stand, but as far as the body is the same, and that one's about $300 with a camera. But if you don't want a camera, they get much cheaper. So something to keep in mind. It really is a game changer. Like I don't think you'll fully understand exactly how much more fun soldering will be when you can really see things up close. I was really amazed at how much it changed my soldering game. So, yeah, go watch that video. I will sing you the praises. It's also not sponsored. She's a nice lady I met in the markets. So, and she has sold a lot of microscopes because of that video. I kind of wish we had done some sort of deal, but no, it's not sponsored. Okay, C33. Okay, 10,000 picofarads, which is 0.01 microfarads. I think that sounds right. Down. Here. Is that it? Yeah. Oh, we're going to switch back to this view. So we're doing C33. And it's this one down here. And C33. It's a little bit blurred on the silk screen, but these are really, really small indicators. All right. So I got a bunch. I have 10 of these. I'm wondering what happened there. Yeah. I don't know when I'm going to be done with this project. We'll see how long it takes. It's definitely going to be not this stream, but I'm guessing a couple streams. But yeah, we're assembling an open source e-ink e-reader, ebook reader that somebody else designed. I didn't design it. I want to give credit where credit is due. But it is a very cool design. I thought it would make for a fun live stream or several live streams. Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely a little bit heavy on the silkscreen ink. This is a common thing, particularly at some of the cheaper board houses. But I think this board is pretty nice overall. I don't see a lot of other sort of issues. Yeah, I also just don't think, like, I think if you ask the manufacturer, they would say you need to make your markings bigger than this. If you ask the PCB house, they would just say, like, we can't support that resolution. So, yeah. And I think it's why the guy who designed the board, Joey Castillo, included a printout of the silkscreen with the board so that you could reference it. We're doing it online, but okay. What's my next component? C30 and 31. Ooh, those are big boys. 1210s. I've never done a 1210. Where are those? Oh, these are these big honkin'. 30 and 31. I see them. Okay. Oh my goodness! Someone anonymously gave Almost an Engineer subscription for 3 months. That's super generous. Whoever it was, thank you. Subscriptions definitely help a lot with the channel. Help support buying cool stuff to do on stream. So I appreciate it. Okay. Sort of kind of tacked into place. These are huge. Huge and hefty. So you can see sort of all the dark sort of fluid out here. That's all the flux that's coming out of the solder, because it's in the center of the solder. The solder's hollow. And so, we were talking about adding flux, not adding flux. That's why we don't have to add flux. If we weren't using flux core solder, then we would, or rosin core solder, then we would add flux. Solder paste also has flux. So solder paste is little tiny microscopic balls of solder embedded in flux. So, or swimming in flux, if you will. And so the flux sort of melts off as you melt the solder, and you're left with solder joint. And some flux needs to be cleaned. I suspect this requires cleaning so that you don't get like oxidation and stuff afterwards. There is no clean flux, but the no clean flux I have is super noxious and like makes me cough and stuff. So, and this stuff I don't even really notice. So, is the microscope not? Looks fine to me. Why are you saying I need to recalibrate? Is it not? What are you saying, Scape Rat, about the microscope? I don't get it. C30, C31 is done. Oh, it's switching back and forth. Is it switching back and forth when I'm looking through it? Or when I'm not looking through it? It's too sensitive. Yes. When I look through it, it's switching away. Okay. All right. I sort of see it. I don't know how to calibrate for that. How to calibrate well. Try that. Let's try that. I don't know. Probably need to tweak that a little bit. Okay. What's next? Got a whole bunch of these. We got 50 of these. All right. This is this big line item. So C. I don't understand. He's got two different sizes here. -NO and -10M gap. But they're the same value. I don't really understand that. Are they different footprints? I don't know. I'm not gonna sweat it. Okay. Okay, it seems like it's okay though. The microscope is okay. But... boy, I can't get in here. Some of this tape. So the tape here is intended to be fed into a machine. Oh, I saw that flash on me. Oh, there. Let's try recalibrating for that. What's going on? Good Lord. It's because I'm putting my head in front of the brightest light. I don't know. Hopefully it's not doing it too much. Teach me to mess with the potentiometer. Yeah, there's a big, the brightest light is here just because you can sort of see the shadow on my face. I should turn the background down. A little bright back there. Kind of been going for the, oops, that's the key. Oh, here's background. I'm going for that deep, moody background, you know? It's fun having nice studio lights. Yeah, I just got it miscalibrated. I need to like plug it in probably. And what I really need to do is design a better interface for it. So that I can tell. Because it's like, the potentiometer is like basically setting the threshold. But then there's also, it does some calibration at the beginning to sort of figure out what the ambient light level is. So, and I kind of forget what I did there. And I don't really have enough feedback on it. So I don't know. I might need to put in some more LEDs or a 7-segment display or something. Which of course means that I need to then redesign the 3D printed case, but you know, it's an iterative process. And because nothing can ever be simple. Okay, you know what? This is not going to work. So the problem with tinning pads is if you tin more than one pad, then you end up with raised bumps. So I don't know if you can see it under the glare, but there's a lot of flux on there. But you end up with raised bumps, and so you can't get the darn thing flat. So I'm going to take all the solder off of here and then retin. Flux helps a lot when you're using solder braid. So the solder braid is just a copper braid that soaks up the solder and removes it. But the flux really helps it flow better into that braid. Adjusting the lights totally to show the boards could have totally changed the microscope switch. Yes. And maybe this is a reason why we should make a V2 with like either infrared or ultrasound. But project for another day. Tell my hands are a little shaky. I forget who asked about shaky hands. So you can tell my hands are a little shaky today. And it's okay. I'm kind of just managing it. One of the important things is to like not touch things more than you have to if your hands are shaky. You can just kind of nudge things so you don't have to hold on to them the whole time. You know, lighter touches. All right, C3. So you can see how easy it is to get the wrong component in the wrong spot, right? Because essentially everything we're doing is the same size. And yeah, very easy to place the wrong thing in the wrong spot. And while all these things look the same, they are not interchangeable. Okay, so I'm going to do these three next. I'm going to tin all three at once and then place them all and then solder them up. So kind of assembly line it here. So 1, 2, 3. Now, another way to do this would be to put down solder paste. There's those little microscopic balls of solder. And I got sticky tweezers. It's the bane of surface mount solderers everywhere. So the solution to that, it's flux getting onto the tip of the tweezers. Which happens. The solution to that is a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. So I've got a little pump bottle of alcohol here. And a chem wipe is a lint-free wipe. And we'll just wiping the solder up. Sometimes these, whoop, there we go. This pump takes a while. And so that just makes sure, I mean, I don't have to use a chem wipe. I keep these around for wiping down boards because they don't leave fibers. They don't leave lint. They're intended for use in clean rooms, but they're great for all sorts of stuff like this. Okay. And the reason we don't want sticky tweezers is because the components are light enough and small enough that they will just stick to them. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Thank you, Thok Thumbs. I'm glad you think it's the best stream on Twitch right now. It's high praise. Okay. Oh yeah, totally. For cleaning print heads, these wipes are a key. You wouldn't want fibers gumming up your print heads on high-end printers. These print heads are expensive. The heads that go in the UV printers are like thousands of dollars. These custom pieces of silicon, so they're etched like a chip would be. Wild. Bob Ross is streaming. I'm sure he's not interacting much with chat. Right, so we could do some happy little soldering, happy little solder joints. So I don't know if I can do a good Bob Ross imitation. We'll try. Okay. So we're gonna do C12 next to, there we go. You see it? All right, so we'll take our soldering iron, make a happy little tinned pad here. It's nice and shiny. You can think about the life that this capacitor had. Came all the way here. It came from DigiKey, but we can think about the name of the person that picked and packed this order at DigiKey. Wonder what factory it came from and where in the world. And we can think about the mines where the elements that went into the capacitor were mined from. I don't know, that's sounding more like National Geographic. There's an artistic component to painting that doesn't quite exist in soldering. We do have to kind of color within the lines here. Well, they are ripping you off for ink cartridges, almost an engineer, but there is some pretty cool technology in them. At scale, the cartridges that go in your desktop printer, your little inkjet printer, are not very expensive. But the big industrial printers have it's a whole different ballgame. There's many more inkjets, holes where the ink is coming out. And yeah. Okay. What did we just do? We did C12. Okay, 14 is on the other side here. Wow. Well, maybe not 14. Oh, I don't know. I guess I haven't been paying attention, but that looks like C9. What were these? 15, 14, and 17, maybe? What does it say? C9. Yeah, okay. Regardless, we're going to do this one next. Okay. Whew. Yeah, you really don't want to screw up those print heads. One of the things we didn't show in the UV printer video, because I didn't understand it until we were pretty much done, I think there's a lot of cleaning that happened after we stopped shooting for the day. I think you have to really properly clean those printers down every time you use them. And it was not intentional. I wasn't trying to hide that. I just didn't know. And I don't know at what point I figured it out, but it was too late. By the time I figured it out, I was like, oh, that is something that I would want to know before buying one of these. Not that we were looking at printers that were particularly hobby accessible, but still. Yeah, wow, each head has 700 to 1,000 nozzles. Yeah, and like 4 inches. Yeah, I mean, the print heads I saw were like that long and maybe that wide. So, yeah. Sorry, I realize I'm triggering this. Okay. So, we did those 3 up there. We did this one. Let's do this one next down in the flash section. It's going to be this one. It's 14, which is on our list. Okay. One thing I just realized is that I need to be really careful to make sure I'm not leaving any extra components sitting on the table when I move on to the next value. Because I'm just picking them up and just kind of fling them out on the table. And I'll make sure I don't pick up one that's the wrong value here. That would ruin my day. Okay. Then we got one more down here at the reset button. Just maybe C29? C29, indeed. Okay. Huh. This board is a little bit different. This pad doesn't match my pads. Let's see. You see that? I've got these 2 extra pads on the side. This thing, oop. Guess you can't really see. Sorry. That area there looks different than that area there. So, machine yearning, I don't use a fume extractor. Most of the time it's fine. I've started using, or I was for a little while using no clean flux, and that was awful. And I was looking into getting a fume extractor, and I've not really found a good one yet. Not a good one that's affordable. So that's a TBD item on my sourcing list, which is a thing. I spend a lot of time off camera just tracking down parts and tools and things, which I'm looking to hire someone to help me with, actually. Because it ain't easy. The other thing that's going on, you don't know about it, I forgot about it. Chinese New Year's coming up, and Chinese New Year grinds everything in China to a halt. So if I need to get anything from China, I need to make sure to order it now, because I'm not going to be able to order things for like a month at least. Maybe 6 weeks. yeah, it's huge. Chinese New Year, if you live in the US, it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all jammed into one 3-week period. And like nobody works, everything's closed, and everybody goes home. Everybody in the country goes home, and a lot of people, as I said earlier, go to the city to work, go to big cities to work. So it's the largest modern human migration, yearly migration. Millions and millions and millions and millions of people go home, and all of the transport in China is booked. So the trains are booked, the buses are booked, the planes are booked. Like you can't travel anywhere. So that all the foreigners I know just get out because the grocery stores are closed. Like the only place you can buy food is McDonald's, which is one of the few places that stays open. The streets are deserted. There's no taxis. There's no nothing. So I know a few people that have stuck around in Shenzhen through Chinese New Year, and it's like a zombie apocalypse. Like it goes from a very busy bustling city to just nothing in a matter of days. So it's insane. I would like to be there during Chinese New Year some year, but it's a deep commitment. You have to commit to basically being there. It's sort of like being in lockdown for 3 or 4 weeks, which I guess we're all kind of used to now. But prior to lockdown, that sounded like a big commitment of time. So, but the pictures are wild, and it's not that way everywhere. Shenzhen is particularly like 85% of the people leave for several weeks, and it's a city of 17 million. So at least the last time they counted. I'm sure it's bigger now. So yeah, it's really hard to pin down when Chinese New Year is, because it's like there's the official New Year, but then there's stuff for weeks on either side of it that is not really official. It's just sort of like, when are factories going to start shutting down? When are people going to start traveling? And it's different every year, and it's changing. And so I always just ask Chinese friends, like, when should I start worrying? Yeah. Yeah, Skibrat. Like, I thought I was seeing the COVID news going into Chinese New Year, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. And it was still pretty bad, but compared to what it would have been, I was pretty astonished they did not have much wider spread than they did. And like, do I fully believe the numbers? No. Do I think they're off by orders of magnitude? No, I don't. I don't think that they are capable of hiding things to that level. There might be some numbers that are underreported or just differently reported than we would tally them in the West. But the level of quarantines and lockdowns they did, once things got serious, there was definitely some like cover-ups at local levels, because I think local officials didn't want to get in trouble with the national government. They didn't want to look bad, and that's a huge thing in China. It's like nobody wants to look bad. But once things got serious and they locked stuff down, millions and millions of people like that. So pretty impressive. Yeah. Yeah. In many ways, I wish the West had handled it similar to China did. Yeah, I don't think the Chinese response was perfect, but they were far faster, and I don't know, people complied a lot more. Like, people wore masks. Like, I've talked to many people who, both Chinese and foreigners, that have been in China for the past year, and like, temperature checks going into every apartment building, checking that only people who lived in the apartment building went there. Mandatory masks everywhere you went. QR codes on your phone to like do contact tracing. Like, it was really cool stuff that really helped. And yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a test. I definitely feel like it is a test on society's willingness to be coherent and to care about others and to listen to science. So Yeah. All right. Did we get all these? We're on this one, right? Wish there was a way to click on the line and have it keep highlighting it. I think we got all these. That one, that one, that one, that one. Those three. And this one. Okay. Yes, we're done with that. Yeah. Okay. Tellurian, you could definitely get nice soldering irons for cheaper. I don't have a specific recommendation, but like definitely there are some Chinese irons that are solid. I don't know. The reason I got a Heiko here is because I was given this same Heiko in China and I liked it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to risk getting an iron that I hate. So yeah. Yeah, Jalopy Jones, there is some things around like masks as fashion. I don't know that it really started with a strong like desire to hide facial recognition. I think some of that stuff's been happening down in Hong Kong, but like it didn't start with that. It was much more like K-pop fashion stuff. So China's definitely into like K-pop fashion, and like Korea and Japan wear face masks a lot more for like just health reasons. Particularly in Japan, if you have a cold, you are expected to wear a face mask in public. Like if you're coughing and sneezing and stuff, like, and you don't have a face mask on, prepare to be shunned by society. And that's a huge, like, that is a strong motivating factor in Japanese society. You do not want to be shunned or judged by others. And so, and I think I haven't been to Korea, but I get the sense that like Korea's that way, but less. And so, excuse me. And so you'll see face masks in both places, and then it kind of became a fashion accessory kind of thing, and then moved into like Chinese Shuhuiren, which is like Shuhuiren is like high society people, which are sort of like young people that hang out in barber shops with loafers and like high cut pants with no socks and wear Peppa Pig watches and are sort of like a very like punk light. They're sort of like, they've essentially given up on like chasing extreme wealth and are sort of like kind of a counterpoint to that. So they dress nicely, they have cool haircuts, but they're like, I'm just gonna chill and like make fun of people who have a lot of money. And so masks are part of that culture too. So sort of like hipsters, but like well-dressed, well-groomed hipsters, kind of. There's an amazing article. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. What's on Weibo is this very cool blog by someone I think in the Netherlands who researches what's popular on Chinese social media. And let me see if I can find this specific article about the significance of Peppa Pig to Shuhuiren culture. The power of Peppa Pig. This is a hilarious article. Peppa Pig is now banned on some Chinese media platforms for being a gang sign. Go read the article. It's amazing. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more. All right, we're done with this one, I think. Oh no, we're not. This is more than just what we checked off. So we just checked off this one, but there's one UF There's C6, C8. Okay, it's these. We're gonna do these next. Hey, Ricky MCD. I think if you, James, I think there is a way to see the stream schedule if you go to the channel page, but I'm not sure. The lower two. Peppa Pig is a gang sign and Huawei is a spy chip. Yeah. I don't know about that. I've been invited to work with Huawei to show off some of their technology, and I don't know, they've invited me to like come check out their stuff. They had a very compelling idea for a video, but it was right as everything was blowing up around Huawei in the news, and there was just so much negative Western press that I don't know. I didn't really know what to do with it. It felt like a huge can of worms to jump into. So they've talked to me again recently, and I think, I don't know, I'll at least talk and see what they think. I don't know. It's sometimes hard to navigate that. Politics. Politics affect more of what I do than I would like. But I don't want to dive back into that conversation. Okay. Then two of the chips beneath. So C, I don't even know what that says. Let's see. C10, C28, these two. Okay. Yes. Yeah, there was this big Business Insider article that, I don't know if it was Huawei or, I think it was not Huawei, but it was like, basically the premise was that somebody in China was embedding hardware backdoors in servers, and it's seen. I've talked to a number of people about it, like security industry insiders, and everybody is super skeptical that that actually happened. There was very little proof. Nobody could actually produce a server that had one of these devices in it. And the article named a bunch of like tech giants, Google and whatever, and they all came out relatively immediately and said, no, that's not true. We don't have any devices like that. I don't know where they got their information. And I know at least one person who was quoted in the article was like, yeah, they took what I said way out of context. So it was definitely the case of like the writer having an agenda and a story they wanted to tell, and telling that story was more important than it actually being true. Yeah. One of the elements of that story, which I thought was interesting, was the premise that there was a small chip embedded between the layers of the PCB. So PCBs in anything sufficiently complex are laminated together, and they have wires in the middle of the layers. And they have traces in the middle of the layers. And you could conceive of carving out a pocket in the inner layers between the two outer layers and putting a component in there that is soldered to or somehow bonded to traces in the middle, and then sandwiching the two outer layers. And it would be very, very hard to detect, right? You'd have to X-ray the board, and you'd have to be able to compare it against a board that didn't have an implant like that. And I thought that would be really cool to just try out. And then I realized like there was such a shitstorm around it in the press, and it was like, I don't know, it was bringing out all the like, you know, crazy China is spying on us stuff. And I was like, you know, actually, it's probably not wise for me to get tangled up in. So, I don't know. I still would like to do it at some point, but I don't want to, like, I don't know. I don't want to get too tangled up in the politics of it. I just think it's interesting from a technical perspective. And yeah, I really don't. I don't want to be used to prove someone's point about geopolitical shit. So yeah, I would like to do it from a technical perspective. At the time, it was not the right move. Like it was definitely very dangerous. And I'm glad I walked away from it. Like I didn't have anybody reach out or anything. It was something that was exciting me, and I was like, nah, maybe I won't do that. So yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should, which applies to a lot of videos. There are a number of things that I was like, oh, that'd be interesting, and then I was like, no, actually, that is a can of worms. So doesn't necessarily mean I'm hiding something. It just means I'm being prudent. Can we apply just because you can to the dental obsession on Discord? I don't know if that's how that works, Obsidian. I mean, what's the real downside to doing it just because you can in those cases? Just because it's weirding you out? If you don't know what we're talking about and you're curious, you should join Discord and see what Scaverat has been up to. Sammy, thank you for converting from a Prime Gaming sub to a Tier 1 sub. That's awesome. All right. Did we get all the things? I think I did all the things. I think that was 5. Okay. Yeah, and we actually have those. Okay. I think we're going to find out that these two, which we didn't say we had, are just tacked on some other bomb. All right, let's declare victory and we'll move on here. You know of a company that's using a known reference and a weight balance check to detect manipulations like that in circuitry? That seems like a very rough. Like, you'd have to be able to detect changes of, like, on the grams level. Wow. Grid Rain, thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. You're welcome, Sammy. Thank you for being a fan. Wow, Scaverat, that's hard to believe that that's effective, but I know that there are people out there that really, really, really want to make sure that their hardware is what they think it is, and have good reason to. So I'm glad that's not my job to figure that out. Let's put it that way. It sounds like a very hard problem. All right, R23, R24, R27. So I'm just kind of working from the top down to maintain some level of sanity. So this is R27 here. 2 years old knowledge. Okay, yeah. I would have a hard time believing that was the end game plan there, but I guess if it works. I'm gonna knock it. Is this list just a 3? No. But I got 10 of them. Because why not? These little components are quite cheap. Particularly the resistors. There's been a worldwide capacitor shortage for the past couple of years, which is bananas. And it's not even because the raw materials are hard to get. It's because some factories changed up their factory lines and they decided it was no longer profitable, and so it's caused all sorts of havoc in the electronics world. People were like stockpiling capacitors. I know people who've like written scripts to monitor inventory on, not even inventory. I know people who've written scripts to monitor lead times for backordered components. People are placing like 3 times the amount of orders that they need so that they're guaranteed to have the components, or hope to have the components that they need by the time they need to actually do manufacturing. It got nuts. I heard stories of like conference rooms in factories in China just stacked with boxes of capacitors. Super crazy. Yeah, you definitely need to do porcelain keycap teeth, Scabe Rat. I'm in agreement. Okay. 23 and 24, which are there. So a little tricky to access because those capacitors are so tall. Okay. So one of the tricks when working with these is getting good at turning them over. So when you dump little parts out like this, they sometimes will end up upside down. And so getting good at sort of rotating your wrist is a necessary skill. There's no real trick to it, it's just a learning process. So the other 2 sides here. Happens. I don't have a good angle on this. I guess another tip that I could offer is it's okay to move your board around if you don't have the right angle. So I've been rotating this board a lot to get the right angle on each joint. Okay. A little bit more fluid. There we go. Hi, Kentolo. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. InnoLight, this is just a project that sounded cool. It's not my design. It's designed by a guy by the name of Joey Castillo. And I didn't find it either. Patrick O.D., one of the mods, and a good friend of mine found it. And I was like, that sounds awesome. And so far it is. It's got a really cool circuit board. It's like self-documenting, describes each section. And yeah, I'm excited to see it work. And I'm a big fan of Kindles, so having an open source version seems really fun. Ooh, resistor arrays. So this is R13 and 14 at least, and also 6. Should be the same. Except that... What? This says 10K, and the BOM says 100K. Ruh-oh. Okay, I'm going to set those aside. Do we have... I think we have some more resistor arrays. I would like to do one of those. These are all 100K, though. Bugger. no, these do say 100K. I was reading the wrong line. Aha. Okay. Well, I'm going to get rid of that. No, we're going to use this one. It doesn't really matter. Let's use the single. I have two separate baggies. I have a single and a strip of 4. And I don't want to end up with 2 strips of 1. So... This is the one where, I don't know, they shipped an empty piece of tape with this. So we have one less extra than I would like, or than I ordered. So these are resistor arrays. So they're 4 resistors in the same package. So that's one resistor, this is the second resistor, that's the third resistor, that's the fourth resistor. And they're just an easy way to have lots of resistors. You need lots of resistors that are the same value. Control. Okay. Yeah. And the way you read this number on it is it's 10 times 10 to the 4th. So it's 10 times this number, 10 to the 4th. It's this number of zeros. So it's 10 followed by 4 zeros, which is 100,000. All right, where does this go? It goes up here. All right, so let's see if this will sit by itself. I don't know. Let's tin it, I guess. Frozen pizza is a lot of effort. I guess you're going to stick it in the oven. It's a lot of waiting time. I don't know that effort really counts for frozen pizza. But it does require, like, patience. There's not immediate reward. Okay, so I've just tinned one pad here, and then we're going to use that to position with. And the soldering doesn't even have to be perfect on that pad. We just want to make sure that the component is in the right spot. So that... See, it wasn't all the way soldered down, and that's okay. We want it to be... We want it to be tacked down enough that we can solder another pad and really tack it down, but we need to make sure it's in the right spot first. All right. Well, it's not quite going as well as I would like. But that's good. Let's do this one here. Oh, let's do this. Okay. Let's put a little more solder on here, and let's get some flux in on the action. Also, flux is sticky, and so it will help stick things in place. Okay. Now we should be able to solder these properly. Oop. A little bit fine pitched here. Okay, I'm just gonna use stick. Ooh, some bridging. Sorry. There we go. This is where that surface tension matters a lot. See, I'm kind of working with the surface tension to get what I want to happen. Oh, sorry, I'll move the board. We are working on these. Working on this one here. Now is where Microscope is nice. Focus this for the camera. Kind of get a sense of, do we have any bridges or not? I don't think we do. So when it balls up on the end of the solder, I'm just pinching it off so that I don't have a big fat ball of solder there getting in my way. One of the keys is not using too much solder. If you use too much solder, then it's pretty easy to get solder bridges and stuff in here. And so if I get a lot of solder on the tip, or even any moderate amount of, I'm cleaning it off on the brass scrubber. I've got like a brass wool in there, essentially, like a pot scrubber. And it's really good at cleaning all the excess solder off and keeping that soldering tip nice and shiny, removing all the oxides and stuff, which hurt the ability for heat to transfer. Some more flux on there. It's a bit. Yeah, this is way slower than a factory would do it. Even someone was doing this by hand in the factory, they'd be moving a lot faster than I am. I'm decent at this, but there are people who are an order of magnitude better than I am. And they will do hand assembly for stuff like this, but not at scale. It'll be all prototype stuff. So I think that's pretty good. Okay. Also, I don't know. I think most factories would make a solder stencil and stencil solder paste on the whole board and then just place all the components and reflow it for prototypes. I don't have a reflow setup here. I could do it with hot air, but I don't have a stencil for this board, so yeah. And I've not really used a solder stencil before. I've always done stuff by hand, so I should learn to do that at some point. I heard it's faster and can be better for a lot of things. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more of these. Right. So we've got our strip of 4 resistor arrays here. Resistor networks. I guess they're calling these arrays. You also see resistor network sometimes. And these are down by the colophon. Could I put there's one downside to this board. To the silk screen, which is if you put components on top of the board, they're almost impossible to find. Because all the components are black and white too. Okay, here's one. Where are they going? They're going down here. There's one. The other one is up here. Oh, I got sticky tweezers again. Get you every time. These are 10K instead of 100K. Let's check. Let's. Oh, it probably says it on the. Yeah, you're right. Sure enough. That was my confusion earlier. Okay. So wait, let me just double check what we just did. Yep. Okay. We are not going to place those. Good catch. Good catch, IHVH. Very astute catch. All right. We're going to come back to that. I probably will have to order those, which sucks. This is why I order extra of things, but even that didn't save us this time. Where is it? It's here. I should have had 2 of these, but I need 3, so set that aside. All right. Oh, Tindy's totally legit. Yeah, totally fine to buy from Tindy. Yep, good people. Good people. I have met some Tindy folks. And yeah, it's one of the more legit platforms to buy DIY electronics from. Not that I know of any non-legitimate ones, but it's good stuff. R9, R17, R18, R19, R20. These are 100 ohm resistors. Turns out the soldering iron and the mouse should not be grabbed interchangeably. If it smells like chicken, you've grabbed the wrong one. Trying to find R9. Okay, down there by the reset button. No, they're not selling from China. The guy who designed these is in the US. There is one component that you have to order from China, which is the e-ink screen. But it's not from the guy who designed the board, it's just from a supplier. So. I think the boards, my guess is the boards were made in China, but I don't know. But the board was shipped from the US by the designer himself, I believe. Okay. I mean, the only reason it matters to me where stuff's being sold from is just like how long is it going to take to get there. Stuff being shipped from China is slow. But beyond that, I don't mind. We get all sorts of cool stuff from China. Okay, R9, we did that, and we have that. What else? 17, 18, 19. These ones here, 20. Okay, which is the rest of what's listed on here. Yeah, JLC's a machine. Their PCB factory that they showed me was so impressive, and that was one of 4 factories that they said they had. Okay. This is stuff in and around the audio combo jack. Which don't... Freaking hell. This board doesn't match. What? What the heck happened? I already placed... No, it does match. I just... Wait, no. What? There's a whole set of pads here that aren't on the drawing. Am I doing a different version of this? Let's look at the back. Or the front. I am doing a different version of this. Crap. This is a 05. Yeah, okay, let's get on the right rev. Crap. Well, I don't see a version number on this. This matches what I have. Is there a way to switch revs? Not that I can see. Well, bugger. No wonder things are not matching up. Okay, let's look at the paper things I was given. That's part of this. That is a giant packing list. Okay. I have a bomb here. Let's look at those resistor arrays. Yep, sure enough, on here they're 10K. So they are right. Okay. I don't think we've screwed anything else up yet, but you never know. Okay. R13 and R14 are 10K resistor arrays. Should we go? Let's finish this first. So, good Lord. Nope, this one doesn't match. Gosh darn. Well, should we assume that at least the part numbers didn't change? I think I'm gonna assume that. Q17 or 19. These. When did I place these? It wouldn't have been long ago. These are wrong. Well, what does this say? 18 and 20. That's wrong according to this. Wait. What? Oh, okay. I have sorry. What I have is correct. Jeez. How did I place these wrong? Where were R23? No, I just placed them in the wrong spot. Okay, these are definitely wrong. Those should be down. I placed them here, and they should be down here. Okay. I'm gonna fire up the hot air. Alexa, turn on the hot air. Move those.
Okay.
I wish that cord was longer. So the hot air is better for removing things because you can heat up multiple joints at once, whereas the soldering iron really can only heat up one at a time unless you're playing dirty tricks. And this is where some flux helps. Not just for flowing solder, but also for heat transfer. So I've got it at 300 right now and a fair amount of airflow. All the airflow. Let me turn the airflow down a little. Go blowing things across the board. I might turn it up to 325 maybe. Celsius, not Fahrenheit. I don't know what Louis Rossmann style fluxing is. I feel like I put a fair amount of flux on there. Okay. So, should be good. Something about cows happening in chat, but I don't know what it is. All right, those go down here. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have pinned both sides of that. Let's fix that.
Missing internet connection.
Really? Oh, that might be Patrick messing around with the server. I forgot that I had left the robot on. I was testing earlier. Oop. Soldered it down over here. Now we got a fair amount of flux on everything, so everything's sticky. So I could get new components, but I've already got these, and they look like they're still in good shape, so. Normally it would be totally fine to just use new ones. Not really any harm in reusing them. Okay. I think when I placed these, I got all excited that they were just between two components that I had already placed. And I declared victory prematurely. Where is 27? And we placed that correctly. There. Wow. No, we didn't place that correctly at all. It's turned sideways. Good lord. Let's get some flux on here. I think I'm getting tired. Definitely making silly mistakes. Oh, thank you, Organ Leaf. I feel like I'm decent.
Robot online.
There are definitely better soldering folks out there by a mile, but I feel like I am moderately competent. The whole paying attention to what I'm doing thing, maybe not so much. But the basic mechanics, I kind of know what I'm doing. Okay. And we can actually replace this with the hot air. So if we just heat the solder up, actually, if we just leave it there, if it doesn't blow away, it will just reseat itself with surface tension. Sort of, kind of. There's not enough flux there to really make that work, but... Okay. I'm going to clean that pad just as a reminder to myself that it is not the next thing I'm going to solder down. Okay. Wow. That was... I don't know what I was thinking about when I did that previously, but definitely goofed that one up. Okay, so let's finish these, which are 17, 18, 19, 20. 17, 18, 19, 20. Which are the ones down here? And let's just cross-reference those. I'm sure that 17, 18, 19, 20 are 100 ohms. Yes. 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. Yes, I know where those go. We're good. Yeah, if you're soldering and it smells like chicken, you're holding it wrong. Which is, I don't know where it really originated, but it's a joke that I heard from my friend Mitch Altman, who is an awesome, awesome guy, one of the co-founders of Noisebridge, Hackerspace, and travels around the world teaching people to solder. Not really this type of soldering, but through-hole soldering. Which is a good stepping stone to this. I think we're now at the point where if you have the right tools, you can actually start with surface mount. You have a decent soldering iron and tweezers and things. You don't necessarily need a microscope if you've got good eyes. I think there's a case to be made, at least with bigger components, that you can do it as a beginner with no magnification, or simple magnification. You know, magnifying glass level. Okay. And it's going to be the two pads here. Yeah, I understand liking the look of through-hole. I feel like, I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I feel like through-hole is more work. I definitely think once you get good at through-hole and surface mount, that surface mount is almost easier. I don't know, there's like, through-hole, you gotta worry about both sides of the board and flipping the board over, and like, you gotta cut legs, and I think the actual solder joints are more complicated because you got to get solder to kind of go all the way around the leg. Getting it to flow well is a little tricky. But it's nice to be able to go from breadboard to perf board to soldered board and use all of the same components. So breadboarding with surface mount is not really a reasonable proposition. Yeah, desoldering is a huge pain with through-hole. Huge. The Like, I would have spent a lot longer doing the rework that I have today from my mistakes if it was through hole. Good tools help, and there's some tricks and tips and tricks and stuff, but it sucks. Particularly if it's got a bunch of legs. If it's only got 2 legs, it's not too bad, but. I haven't heard I look like Chris Pratt before. I hear Conan O'Brien and the Burger King guy and I don't know, a few others. Okay, and we're gonna, ooh. Okay, we got those. Those are done. And we did R9, I think. Which, in this version, was something totally different. Oh, it was the same. Okay. Onward. Time we got. I gotta wrap up soon here. Do a few more. That one's like a whole laundry list of things. Let's do this one. So these are the 0.47 ohm resistors, which I have never seen anything less than 1 ohm. I've never seen anything between 0 ohms and 1 ohm. And a 0 ohm resistor is essentially just a wire, but they put it in a resistor package so that you can place it with a machine. And it's for, I don't know, it's for essentially like configuration during assembly. So if you think of like flipping dip switches, it's sort of like that, but they're soldered. It is kind of dangerous, Obsidian. I did think twice before saying it. A friend in Shenzhen that I play Ultimate Frisbee with thinks that is very amusing. It was from a YouTube comment a long time ago. So this is just R12. Where is R12? Up here. Oh, it's an e-ink thing. R12. I'll see it. Right there. I wonder if I can turn on... There was something about... Oh, dark. Oh, it's darkening it over here. I wish it would darken on this. Do not place outlined. Board rotation. Huh. Okay. That's kind of helpful. You can turn on and off various things. Let's turn off some stuff. Tracks. I don't. Silk screen. I don't think that's really helping our understanding at all. Zones. Yeah, it's better. Okay. R12 is there. Let's just double check it. R12. Yep, still in the same spot. Yeah, KitSpace is awesome. I wish more people would use it. It's really nifty. This is the first time I've seen it, is for this project. Oh, that's a good point, Skate Rat. You can totally bridge with a passive, so with a 0 ohm resistor. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, and then that potentially allows you to have an only one-sided board. Yes, you're absolutely right. That is a clever, slightly dirty trick. But if you only have a few places where you need bridges, it might save you a lot of money. Because 1 layer is cheaper than 2 layer. Though I think that's starting to change, where a lot of fabs are just like, it's the same. cost. Certainly at prototype levels, but... Oh. But you still see one-layer boards in low-cost, like, toys and things. It's pretty interesting looking at really cheap toys, children's toys, and seeing how they're made. Because those guys are squeezing every single last penny out of their cost they possibly can. Interesting to see the choices they make. Quality is often not a driver for them, just about cost. So you can often see what choices they, whatever they've chosen to do, it's often because it saves them money. Okay. Replace the weird green resistor. There it is. Its new home. I think I'm going to call it quits there. I intended to only stream for like a couple hours, and it's been 3.5. So, yeah. I think it's pretty solid. Yeah, obviously a lot more work to go on this board. See if I can hold it up. A lot left to place. All the gold stuff, for the most part, needs to be placed. But starting point. I do use Brave. I originally started to use it because they approached me about a sponsorship, and I was like, well, I guess I should try this before I do a sponsorship, and I really liked it. And so it was very easy to switch over from Chrome to Brave. Yeah, it was a nice little... We did a couple sponsored videos together, and I still get tips from people that use Brave. It has a nice built-in thing. So Brave has like an ad blocker built into it, but then to make sure that content creators like me get paid, there is a way to sort of automatically contribute a certain amount per month into a pool, and then have that pool be divvied up based on where you spend your time. So if you watch my YouTube videos and you have a pool of tips, I get a little bit of that, which is nice. You're welcome, Sammy. Yeah, I'm glad this was a good stream. This was good. We had a good turnout for a while. We had almost 200 people in here at one point. So people have kind of dropped off. I imagine people are off having dinner and things. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll pick this back up. Next stream is going to be Monday at 3 p.m. Mountain. So I don't know that this will be the schedule forever, but I've put up a schedule at least for next week. So it's going to be 3 p.m. Mountain, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, yeah, thank you to Nosh and Obsidian for moderating here. This is a little bit of a more rowdy stream than we've had in the past. So, yeah, thank you to both of them. Let's see. Usually I do a raid at the end, just so we can sort of cross-pollinate. What should we do here? I don't know. Yeah, I think we're not gonna do anything. I won't do a raid, but Linus is doing the WAN show right now. If you want to go check him out. And Ryan 56K is doing some gemstones. So, Shoppy Jones, I will go check out Pausebot. I don't like raiding people that I haven't watched before. Because it feels like a risky click, So I'll go check out Pausebot once I sign off here. But and then who was doing the repair? I didn't manage to follow them. Did anybody catch their name that was repairing graphics cards? It was something repair, and I don't remember it. Pausebot TV. Okay, we'll check that out. Gur repair. Yes, that sounds right. Let me open both of those just so that I don't forget them. GME. And make sure I mute that. And repair. Okay, cool. Yeah. Awesome. Have a good night, Eagle. I will check in on Discord, and I saw you sent me a message, and I didn't read it yet. Good night, Almost an Engineer. Have a good one. Morgan, have a good night. It's late where you are. The robot was on but not connected to anything. So we're still working on debugging the server deployment. So and realistically I need to do some more code for it and just clean it up and stuff. So Patrick has been helping with deploying there, and we've had a couple false starts just through poor communication on my end. We'll get that running next week. I don't know. I won't make any promises as to what the next stream will be, but it will probably be either the project we worked on today, the robot, or USB-C iPhone, because I now have parts for that. And I had parts today, but I did not have the brain to do the braining for that. So I needed something more mellow. It's been a long week. So yeah, one thing I didn't mention is that I got my booster shot for my COVID vaccination on Tuesday. And so I was a little under the weather Wednesday, I guess, from it. A little bit like getting the flu shot where you're kind of just feeling a little crummy. So it's slowed me down, and then I've just had a lot of other projects going on. So yeah. Oh, sweet Eagle. Yeah, totally. Send me a PCB. Yeah, and join Discord. Come hang out with us after the stream. I'll be in there after the stream as I'm cleaning up and stuff. So. All right, with that, I'm going to sign off. Good night, all. Come hang out on Discord. And yeah, I'll see you soon. I'll see you Monday. Take care.